All right, hello, and welcome back to another session of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Hope you guys are doing well, as always, as a casually switch over. So last session, we started the Great Ace Attorney 2, right? Resolved the second game. And we spent 3 hours completing the first case. It was, I don't know if it was shorter than the last. You know, the first game's first case. Or I just didn't speak because I was speaking like every line that time. But last session I didn't really speak. I was a bit tired. But yeah, we completed the first episode, the first case, whatever you want to call it. And we played as Susato Mikotoba. She decided to become a lawyer to save or to defend her friend Ray Membami-san. That's the name, Remember Me. That's the name, but I don't want to. If I say it fast, it'll be Remember Me, right? But it just doesn't sound nice. Not nice, but it doesn't sound natural, doesn't it? But it's a good wordplay, nevertheless. But yeah, we defended her, and we saw familiar faces. We saw Hosonaga-san, we saw Soseki-san, and at the end of that case. There was something going on, right, with Susato's father, right? Because apparently, that telegram that she received where her father was sick, she came back, right? Only to find out that he's, you know, healthy and fit, right? But the thing is, her father, I'm gonna like choke because I just ate something. But the thing is, her father not only is the, you know, Yume's university professor, one of the professors at the university, he works, you know, with the government a bit, and that's a bit suspicious, right? A bit suspicious. And so Soseki, after you found out that Susato was the lawyer, right, the defendant lawyer, he told Susato it might have been because of the second case involving Soseki. Another case, the second case, which we haven't seen before. The first case was the falling knife, right? I forgot what it was called, but yeah, it was the lady, and she got stabbed accidentally. The knife flew down on her back, and I don't know if it stabbed her, right? But nevertheless, yeah, there's a second case about the house, right? The residence, and we don't know about that yet. And this is like going another way back, a few days. I don't know what's gonna happen here. But I think we're back in Britain. Susato will be there, Naruhodo will be there, and Natsume will be there as well. And I don't know what we'll get ourselves into here. So yeah, apparently this case made her father, Susato's father, you know, call for that telegram. So something happened here, something big, and we'll hear.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight, then in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
Alright, let me click in here. Alright, here we go. Renosuke now. I thought he didn't do a case, right? I thought he didn't do a... That's what I thought. He didn't do it. He had a case. He had a second case. Well, he did say he didn't have a case since 2 months. So this happened right after? Question mark? I forgot. Alright, I made acquaintance of world-famous detective. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes. Yeah. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. Maybe this is after, actually. And then it'll link in with the case we did, the second case of Soseki, right? Alright, let's continue on here. That epic trial was just part of a small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber. Thanks to the letter that arrived this morning from our homeland. So this is in the present. This is from Cesada, right? Right, apparently I'm hungry. That was a terrible rumble. Alright, what a wonderful, delicious smell wafting up the stairs. It must be nearly time for breakfast. I'm gonna go down to Mr. Shlom's suite. And say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. We haven't read the letter yet. Okay, we're in August. So we're in the present. Alright, Runo, good. I was just about to call you up. The bacon's ready. We're having bacon and eggs. Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I had a surprise this morning. Shh. No, another word, Mr. Naruto. This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation repelling mental simulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you too, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes. I see. So that is. So that is. So that is. So that is. It was a bit too close to my personal space there. Shalom's never do that again. So that's it. Alright, so what are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have this very morning met with a surprise. Oh, here we go. He's doing a stupid deduction. Is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Thirdly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course. Though I don't look for admiration, you understand. My head always looked like this. I've been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has? The button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you. Really pulled your button off? I don't remember these events, but I'll take his word. Ah yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing noises of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then, that in my vexation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it off from its proper place. Well, I like it back now, please. It's been troubling me that I can fasten my jacket. I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Helpful. Somewhere on the floor. No, Hodo. Pick it up for yourself. Right, what matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring. Hurley, Runo said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning. Alright, good job, Herlock. Good job. Alright, well, that really is a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire, the famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name. At least he's recovered well from his injury. Alright then, enough of the silly conversations. Come and eat this bacon before it goes cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend, that's good to hear. And here we have is Iris Wilson, Mr. Shlom's lodger and a companion. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of the highly successful Civilization here in London. Yes, the adventure of Sherlock Holmes as published in the Rants magazine. So, Mr. Naruhodo, once you put us out of our misery, what surprise you found out this morning? Well, I received a letter from Japan. Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it? Really? That's right. And she had some rather startling... Is that very startling news? Jesus. My English. Am I really British? You must tell us all about it over breakfast. Oh yes, what fun. Oh, what fun is to ride on a one-horse snowy sleigh. What am I doing? Checking people, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why I checked. I assumed that... Oh, God, I'm dying. I assumed that everyone, you know, a year has passed, but it's only been 6 months. Alright, look at Susie's beautiful writing. And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she's actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case. Ah, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful? She's pretty good, apparently. A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. And, you know, with the versus Van Ziegs, you know, you never hear that every day. Mr. Natsume appeared in trial as a witness. I don't think he had a perfect record, right? Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man twice. Yeah, here's the twice pad. In those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago. Ah, the mustached twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache. Didn't have 2 mustaches, clearly. Yes, who could have forgotten those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you, clearly. Alright, what's the startling news? So, what was the startling news penned by Mr. Sato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Shalhomes? Yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten, hasn't he? Anyway, in her letter, Mrs. Sato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. It took place half a year ago. For what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. Hold on. I should bring my phone close. Because I'm doing something. Might have something to do with the case of the haunted lodgings. What they said? The real reason why she was called back to Japan. So suddenly, Mr. Natsume said, might have been something to do with the case of the haunted lodgings. On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mrs. Sada's father questioned him about the case, he says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram. Oh, that case, yes. I don't remember this case. It was very strange, wasn't it? Yes. And I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication too. Then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? It was very mean. That story must not be published, he said, very mysteriously as well. Really? I said that? Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Stroms? And about why Mrs. Ada was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan? I don't want to... Alright. What's that? Alright. Never mind, I'm not gonna bother. It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off of Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she suddenly announced that she had gone back to Japan. I had to go back to Japan. Indeed it was, due to the telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right. Telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. Well, no. Just because he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse. A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she make the voyage back home. Why would he do that? I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that, I wonder what Mrs. Ada's father is hiding. Ellie, do you know what this is all about? Oh, he's got the code on. Well, who can say? What? But you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. and whatever name, whatever man, analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris? I will hurry, don't worry. See you later. Oh, he's going. I bid you farewell, my dear. Alright, he scuttled off rather quickly there. If he's trying to avoid. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. But of all people, Mr. Sholmes. Aha! I found them at last. Iris, are they... Notes about the case? That's right. Susan and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Runo? Yes, please. Absolutely, thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could be hiding in the shadows of this case. Perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light. That's the spirit. Alright, it's going. Okay, fine. And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in the corner that followed. Believing every detail. I just need to find a clue, and I have all the time in the world. Because, of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of the Great Britain. Oh, what? What happened? Cannot practice law? What the hell just happened? It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident unfolded on the wintry streets of London. I'll order it. I got a frog in my throat. Right, believing in our compatriots' innocence, Cesaro and I decided to represent him. Alright, grueling trial. You know what? I'm not gonna... Let's just put the autoplay on. The grueling trial. Yeah, but he's a happy man. Jubilant jubilation. Was the man's reaction after it? His jubilant jubilation was short-lived. He was involved in another case? We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the railroad stabbing has regained consciousness. Alright, it's gonna link to her. Hurry to Bart's at once. Just as Azan and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. Alright, we're in February now. St. Bartholomew's Hospital Recovering Ward. There you are, at last. Morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not. Oh. You're late. What on earth took you so long? The telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital. That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I have been waiting for what it feels like an eternity. In point of fact, I myself was awoke at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. The feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. Alright, hold on. Alright, the victim over there, she has only regained consciousness. There she is, yeah. Alright, and you should introduce yourself and I shall observe from here. So that's the lady who we found on the... What's her name? Olive Green, but I don't know that... Oh. Here we are. Miss Green. Olive Green, I believe. Examine. Good morning. She's an artisan. I am Rinosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Oh no, what was it? Was it your knife that Are you the man who... Oh, no, no, no. I'm a lawyer. It seems like she hasn't got the details yet. And I'm Susanna Mikatoba. Pleased to meet you. Oh, no, was it your knife man then? Are you the one? No, no, no. I assure you. I'm Mr. Naohodo's judicial assistant. Is it that man in the corner of the room? We heard that you regained consciousness and wanted to come and give you our best wishes. Best wishes? For me? Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is I'm trying to be an artist, alright? Well, what I really mean is I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. No, I don't. Wow. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back. That was just unfortunate of events there. I don't think that's related, actually. Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down. Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. Alright. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement, what a terrible experience you had, Miss Green. It was so cold that day and the fog was so thick. Couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time. The case has been solved, hasn't it? While I've been here in the hospital, I mean. Indeed it has, my dear madame. Spectacularly, by none other than I, Herlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, as you well know, it was Mr. Naohodo's hard work in court that solved the case. Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green? Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly. Oh, I see. Me coming round seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry, I should never regain consciousness. She's a bit pessimistic, isn't she? It was selfish of me. Oh no. We're all so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. We really are on the mend. With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Funny guy, ain't he? So you're an artist, are you, Miss Green? Oh no. Oh, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really, at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. You know, let's say that word together nice and fluidly. Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain is such a wonderful country. Oh, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts? Oh no, actually, I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road. I see, how very interesting. Oh no, isn't? Brixton is some 10 spots away on the underground from here. And Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton Town Centre. Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelt in by those of inferior means, including the maleficent Mr. Mustache. Inferior means... I suppose Soseki-san does fit the bill, poor guy. He's an actual author, though. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine art student to be walking in such a district. That's all. Guess she was finding something? I don't know. What's this? She suddenly climbed up. Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying into a young maiden's private affairs. Ha 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 ha. Oh dear me, do forgive me. He doesn't give a shit. If you don't mind. I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things. But yes, of course, we won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. Oh. Well, should I see? This is a big, whatever it is, mouse or rat. Eek, a mouse, Mr. Naohodo. An enormous mouse, yeah, it is. Oh, vermin in the hospital? That doesn't seem the best. It looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump. I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you're thinking. What's this on the ground? Nothing particular of note? Are you sure about that? What's this? Look, there's a photograph in this frame here. Oh. A married man? A young gentleman? He looks about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think? Or I was gonna say it might have been her. But who knows? Mr. Nawafoda, her? Mr. Nawafoda! Nawafoda now. Well, if you're looking for Nawahodo, the lawyer, that's me. Ah, Mr. Nawafodo, good. This is for you. It's a message from Mr. Soseki Natsume. Mr. Natsume, send a message. Saucy Nux, Soseki Natsume. Send a message for me. I'm surprised they got that. But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume? Exactly. What's going on? I'm being arrested again. Plane delivery here. Ah, what are you waiting for? Let me see that. Oh. Well, this is the most unexpected. Is something wrong, Mr. Shlomes? There's something wrong, Mr. Shlomes, he says. Have you not seen this note? No, how could have I? Yeah, how could have I? It would seem that London's criminals have no intentions of letting the great detective rest. New case calls. A case of murder, no less. We must depart at once. Murder? Call a cab. Time is of the essence. But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodges once we did. Well, we're there. It'll be entirely convenient. Convenient? What do you mean? It's all here in the know, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place in Mr. Mustache's lodgings. Wait, what? I'll hail a... What was that? What the hell is that word? I'm gonna find out. A carriage? How you pronounce it?
Fiacre.
Fiacre. Damn, that's what a word there. Fiacre. Now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address. He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seems to us at the time, but we've soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Oh my god, Natsume's dead. I don't think so. It was worse than we thought? Oh shit, it's the thingamajig. Am I the gentleman's deceased? It's the person we saw earlier. Yeah, without question, he's dead. Look, local student, Mr. Naoto Esquire. Mr. Natsume. Oh, why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up the next day to this. No early bird should catch a worm like this. Woeful worm without wiggle. I see you in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Ah, not the horrible hairlock Shlomes. Chew, shove off. Show yourself the door. I never invited you. Mr. Shlomes came here with us. Quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume. Yeah, I'm entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do with you? Oh, there's the guy. Here they are already. The busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant surprise. Pleasant, is it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face at crime scenes, Shlomes. It was because of the fish and chips, honestly. I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Yeah. Good morning, Inspector. This is a crime scene. Don't go touching anything. Oh, good morning to you too, Sunshine. Well, guess I don't know what to do. Miss Natsume. Oh, what a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences. So the victim live here on the ground floor and your room is just one story up, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. In a way, we are neighbors, I suppose. So, did you know the victim? Were you friends? Alright. Go through all his sprites before we get it. What's the matter with Soseki-san now? It was an instant enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken about it? Well, I suppose he was a complete stranger. But he didn't invite me to his room. No. Never. On my honor, I swear it. What extreme reaction. Probably wishing you never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruto? When you found him here, I felt wretched. Which is why I sent word asking you to come. To that inspector over there. Alright. Alright, what are you doing here, Grayson? What was the victor's name? Who was he? William Shamspeare, huh? He was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. A bit of a dead loss. Damn, actual Shakespeare? He's dead? Shamspeare. Alright, but doesn't Mr. Gauda have a bag leg? I need to stop slurring. You actually did the kicking. Alright, Soseki busted in. The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Had no money, no place to go, no friends. But the people in this house. Miserable life. And a miserable end to it. So what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you send him away from the crime scene? Well, I'm not saying it because the fella looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious. I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the cohabiter. And then you said culprit there, didn't you? Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again. Certainly seems that way. He does just come across as such a odd fellow, doesn't he? Oh man, how fortunate. Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. But, I don't think the fellow's been gone that long. The body's still warm. Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch that body. Guess we examine the food. Alright, hands off. Yeah. Just want to look, that's all. No chance. I know you're kind, you're messed up just by looking at it. Ugh, someone's in a bad mood. There certainly is some bad air in here, isn't there? Alright. I was like, I better talk to Inspector first and try to curry some favor. Well, there's this guy, though. Mr. Shlomes, what are you doing? You only need, only observe to now, what the hell? You need only to observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating naturally. There's nothing natural about that pose. Mr. Shlomes, have you made some miraculous discovery? Patience, my dear madame, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened. My goodness. Uh-oh. But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Shlomes? Oh, now that you propose the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Shlomes said significant somehow? No, don't mind me. Forget I was here. I did something, this little shit. And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense. Alright, Mr. Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Shlomes' deductions? No, please. Pretend I'm not here. Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant. Impossible to ignore. You must tell everything, Mr. Shlomes. Spare no detail. Alright, we're gonna get into it quick. But of course. Let the theatrical treasure before us be unraveled by my great deductions. Presented for your pleasure in 2 acts. I've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Shlomes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtains rise for Sherlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. Alright. I'll let order here. I won't talk here. I'll just like read it through. Because we're going to talk in the thingamajig, right? Careful observation here. Why is the soap on the dish? I don't think so. Natsume looks as though it's there. Alright. Yeah, the struggle against his hunger was in vain. Devouring the slippery feast. Intoxicate. Is that even possible? Intoxication from a large... Well, we'll see here. Poisoning from soap. Ingestion. Suicide or murder? Let's find out. Cause of death and identifying, yeah. We ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will call the death occurring during the victim's assault. You know, I should have talked. I think it was right before. The single teacup suggests the answer. My nose is itchy though. Right. Reveals the answer, of course, is the broken law. I don't think so. He must have been alone. Along with his inferior soul from whence waft something. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was cleansed on his way to the hereafter. Suicide? No possible perpetrator present. It's just one thing, Mr. Shlomes. You are disposed to identify just one thing, aren't you, Miss Naldo? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry you was, do you think the man would have eaten soap? Quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It's a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. How extraordinary. Truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. You've eaten it, you mean? Jesus. Some time ago. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut. And did it? As I arrived in agony on the floor and spilled the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. Yeah, the experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It had an unpleasant taste that leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did. Alright, what's that troubling Susato here? It's Mr. Natsume. Ah! I can help noticing him shudder and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Storm's introduction touched a nerve somehow. Nonsense. Alright, damn. Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, The way to detect the deduction may need some general corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Alright, yes, Mr. Sholmes' observation and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the other side of the head and drive it at an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do. Guess we'll just pick out the keywords. And discreetly exchange them. I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. With Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular Act 1. Careful observation of the victim. Alright, yeah. The foam on his mouth. One half sizable bar of soap. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. Yeah, Soseki's just looking at it as well. Can't deny that the fork implies the man was eating something or about to eat something. Did I just repeat myself? If I was to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. Of course, only half a bar of soap is left on the plate. But might there not be another explanation? Something material that proves that whether or not the man really ate it. Could it be? Wait, do you think he was drinking tea with the soap? Cup's empty, so no way knowing. How about this one? Perhaps it was full of water. As he was dissolving soap in it, he gulped as much down as possible. Yeah, he may not be the soap lord that I was trying to be. Did the victim really eat soap? I don't think so. There's this other piece of soap. Look, there's some soap on the floor here. Mr. Shamspear must have really loved the stuff. Let's not jump into conclusions, Miss Nardo. Look close to the soap. Do we fit together perfectly with a half bar on the table? What the? How can that be? I think that there are two halves of the same bar that broke apart. I think the teacup. I don't think so. I'll go for the teacup here. Nope. I guess the other piece of soap, question mark? Possibilities are endless. The question we are currently pondering is whether or not this ate the soap. No, it didn't. Yeah. Alright, I got myself ahead. Don't worry. Alright. Don't worry, it must be the other bar soap, right? That's what we must determine. Was the victim eating soap when he died or not? No. Talk about a slippery problem. Hey, hey. Alright, here it comes. Right. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table, in short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really, for no death of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. That begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Naohado, and one that finishes us with the answer we seek. London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Alright, we've repeated here. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. Still pushing the soap argument again. Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than he ate it. If soap is in London is that poison, I don't think I would want to be washing my hands with it. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food is the only thing that passes people's lips, isn't it? Yeah. Is it this teacup now?
Take that!
Yeah, there we go. Yes. The victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed, the cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it would appear that this victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. This cup tea. This key cup. Poison in the tea. Alright, here we go. Cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. The man dying or die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our discussion so far. Well, yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamspeare was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me is that Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Shlom suggested. Right, we must closely examine the scene of the crime again. As someone was present. Was it this? Nope. The other teacup.
Take that!
Is the man dying and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there are two teacups in this room all along. Ah. In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper, there was a guest present. At the very least, we can say now with certainty somebody else was here in this room last night taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Only unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish. However, certainly. Meager? Is that how you say it? Let's find out the word. Or Miaga. Miaga.
Meager.
No, it's meager. Just meager. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in the room at the time? Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. I'm not sure I like where this discussion is going now. I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the... whatever it is. Man, there's so many words. Let's find out. What's this word? As I autoplay. A halcyon? Might be halcyon, actually.
Halcyon.
Yeah, there we go. What reveals the answer of this broken lock? What we're looking for? Maybe this empty bottle, actually. It's empty. Empty of liquid, but full of air. Makes you think, doesn't it? It makes me think that you're full of hot air. We should be thinking about who else was in the room at the time. Bother, Suzanne-san's quips in response was cleverer than my original riddle. Howell books? Might be. At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the clothes. Costumes. Overlook these 3 books initially. I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read Picture of Monsieur Lecor, Canterbury Yearnings, and A Meal for Gabriel. Yeah, that's the same books that Soseki had. Sure, I heard those titles before. Could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day. Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed. Soseki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them, that's right. And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim. Yet Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. Well, what does that mean? Do you think... I really don't know what to make of it. Alright, here we go. There we go.
Take that!
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Why so? It's no mere coincidence that these 3 tiles are here in this room. The link is the link to the truth. Ah. Mr. Natsume, can you purchase these books 4 days ago at a second-hand bookshop? That's just a coincidence. In that case, you'll be able to bring the same 3 tiles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. No, never. No, non-negotiable. If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. When purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested through the very next day. So you couldn't conceivably have brought the books here on the evening. You never mentioned that. In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Last night, having returned to your lodges after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there's only one possible conclusion. Victim died here in this room last night as a result of poisoning. In the same night, the victim had a visitor. And the visitor... was you, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Get wrecked. This concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' great deduction. Great in deduction. Alright, damn, we got some weird noises. Elementary. Not again, not again, not again. Not again. Well then, Mr. Natsume. It would appear you're going to have to accompany down to the yard. Again. Wait. Hold your horses, yes. Door. Key. Locked. Entry. Exit. Entirely impossible. So flustered that he's being even stranger than normal. What? You think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy. What? You live in the same building after all. You have had plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. Misery me. Sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to give your side of the story later. Facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. You horrible Herlock Sholmes. Really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he? Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's a carriage waiting. Locum student Mr. Naohoda Esquire. I never imagined I'll be in this position again, but... you have to help me, please, please. I'm innocent. Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it. And one more thing. Oh, yes? Poor little kitty cat. Please give him breakfast for me. Oh, there's Waggy, right? Wagga high. And so, his evil curse still apparent, unbroken. Soseki-san found himself once again the prime suspect in the case of murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. I mean, we were here too. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you. Yeah. Well, at least Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now. Yes, that's right. And of course. What? Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Gowdeb, who discovered Mr. Shamspeare. Ah, Mr. John Gowdeb, yes. I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual. You're right. We must remember to go and talk to him later then. Alright. Let's examine. Look at these extravagant bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with this grim, shady going-ins. This one looks like a king's attire. A king? I've always dreamt of being a king. Oh, I think you'd be more suited to a feudal lord, a daimyo, or such like. With a cho mage top knot, every Japanese man wished he had a chon mage. Chon mage? Chon mage? Can you imagine what would happen if I walk around the streets alone with chomage and a sword? Chomage? I just like completely threw Japanese out the window there. I don't know, all we can do now is hope that he'll be reborn to a better life. Yeah, I suppose you're right. I wonder. Do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul? Sorry. I'm sure I had a reference at the ready for such an occasion as this, actually. This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed. The British Way. I'll just reread it now. One moment. There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? Alright, what's this? Gas meter? Another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a meter of some kind. Ah, this is the gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins. I see. Yes, now you point it out. I can see that there's a slot just here. It looks like it would have taken a coin. So, you mean if I put a coin in here? That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating. So, if you're a poor person with no money, you have to sleep in the freezing cold. Yes, or you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank. Thank goodness there's no meter in our office. Alright, we're gonna... Wait, hold on. Something on the ground here. What is this? Looks like a part of an envelope, I think. Yeah, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was open. Is that significant? Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps, when you look at around the moon. There's no sign of a letter or all the rest of the envelope, in fact, is there? Ah, she's right. And yet, here we have the torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual. I agree. You better take this just in case. Alright. I guess we'll click here just in case. There's not much on the shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle. Both of them are cracked. Yes, not much use, are they? What's the matter? Oh, it just reminded me of the Reaper, that's all. We also gave you the Lord Van Zeeks? Yeah, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it was a waste that he should donate some of the to the needy. You can suggest it next time we meet. Alright. Let's go over here. No, nothing. Ah? What's this? This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think it is. Isn't it? Where does the audience sit, though, for the nightly Shakespeare performance? Actors aspiring to the great music must practice their art, Miss Naldo, with or without any assistance. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in our office. Then you could practice your art every single day. I'll think about it if you promise to don a beard and play the role of the judge. Well, if that would help you achieve your goal, this I have to see. I guess we'll look at here, this lantern. Gas wall light, isn't it? It must be connected to the gas pipe at the wall. Gas lights, a gas stove. London really is a city of gas. Now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they? Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove over there. Well, I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's so much closer. Alright, I think we're done here. Oh, we've got a long way to go. Alright, to Garadeb. Here we are again, the eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode. We're here because Mr. Garadeb's the one who discovered the incident this morning, don't we forget? There he is. Ah, you chaps, eh? Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday. It was quite a trial. As much for Mr. Garadeb as anyone, really. Came straight back here after all the business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bally nonsense this morning. I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garadeb. Yes, I suppose you'd like to know all about that loss of an actor chap in the ground floor room. Those were exactly what Inspector Gregson's were, weren't they? Alright, got his cane up. It must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what happened. Ah, well, that hopeless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down, knocked on his door, but no bally answer. And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door? Well, I call on that rum-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course. Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour. It's very true, Mr. Naruhodo. If 30 minutes oversleeping warrants such behavior, I have to kick your door down every morning. Well, you know, better to be safe than sorry and all that. It's just me, or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden? Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door. Alright, a lot more things people are hiding, hey? Victor name is Mr. Shamspear, I believe. Whoops, sorry about that. I believe that's right. Yes, William Shamspear took the ground floor room 3 months ago now. And how would you describe him? In a word, the stewed. The stewed? Well, let's just face it. The only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Everyone wanted to live in a place like that is either broke or has a bally screw loose. So hard to choose which category Soseki-san will fall into. Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude. Who's doing research as well? Research? Into what? Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. I read a few pairs of them all by myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that. You mean Romeo and Juliet? Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classic playwright and author. He's gone now, I believe. Also known as Sao in Japanese. Yesterday's events. After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you not notice anything strange between them in this morning? Well, it had been 6 in the evening the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily as I remember. It was completely dark already. I felt actor chap was out at the time. Noticed there was no light in his room or something, I suppose. Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. I was after 8 before Shamsua got back, and the chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end some time after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there. Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Gaudeb, you were up here in your room all evening, if I understood correctly. Not a big fan of stairs, not with this blasting leg. Then, how do you get downstairs? Yeah, how's it that you seem to know the precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean? Ah, very good point. He's got a stair lift. Stair lift, right? I can't imagine that you could hear the noise from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it? He just smashed his pipe. I say, I know what you're thinking, and it's bodily outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants. Why would I? Then how did you know, Mr. Gaudeb? It's the gas, woman. The gas tells me everything. The gas? Alright, speaking gas. Gas speaks to you? What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you everything? Anything, let alone everything? Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes. Yes, I more or less worked that out. Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to the properties via the main. Yes, I understand that too. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen? Well, obviously the room would get brighter. Exactly, but at the same time, lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment. What? They dim? Why? Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, might it? Yes, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe. Is that supposed to happen though? It sounds rather undesirable. Very good point. The fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless, long worn out. And barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposites are true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they glow brighter in the rest of the houses. Ah, right, I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you could determine what's happening elsewhere. You've got it. Oh, of course, because when people come back home in the evening and before they go to sleep at night, what they guaranteed to do is either light or put out the lamps and fires. Clever. In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house. Gosh. That's fascinating, Mr. Gaudeb. Absolutely fascinating. Oh, well, nothing too good, really. I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case either. But I like to know why Mr. Gaudeb is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than the idle curiosity. We present something? Mr. Gaudeb, could I show you this? In quite a couple of days, as you can imagine. I'm afraid I'm rather tired. I haven't really got the energy in the old eyeballs, to be honest with you. Some other time, then. Alright, we're done. I guess to Briar Road. Is there someone here? Let's find out. Alright, thank God. There's no one. Nothing. Let's guess where's... Let's guess where's his gas place, right? You know that screen is hiding now. Alright, the library books, yeah. Then suppose I'll be able to clear that mess up for some time now. Oh dear. It must be a very difficult situation for you. I'll say, people talk about twists of fate and whatnot. Well, this was a twist of heart, Ron show. He's clearly struggling with everything that's happened. Alright. I have no idea where to go. Assume there's something here. Oh, there's Iris typing away. Oh, yeah, this is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's on the blackboard today? Look up, Bruno. What is this? Oh, I'm just playing around with ideas for the next tile of the next installment. Another idea I had was the barrel cornet. I'm really torn about which one to use. What do you think, Bruno? Anything but buck up, Bruno, obviously. Huh. I suppose you're right. I'll tell you what, I'll surprise you with it. You'll have to wait until the next month and see. Ugh, so many sleepless nights. Wait, she's typing here. Oh, this perspective kind of weird. I'm gonna lie, but... Iris? It's incredible consecration, that is. Kind of quite remarkable how can she focus on so many different things at once. Big brain. Perhaps I should try drinking more herbal tea. Blend third from the right would be good for you, Bruno. Oh, Iris? This girl is destined for great things, I'm sure. Alright, so she's just busy away. Alright. Where do I go from here? Alright, let's just... I guess we'll examine everything from top to toe. Oh, a number of bricks are loose. Alright, this was important to see. But yeah, so it looks as though an amateur's broken out a few of them just here. Was it Mr. Shamspeare who did it? I wonder if being a lodger renting this room. Ah, it looks like Mr. look at this. On the outside, there's a little ledge, and there's something on it. Bars of soap. Ugh, it's so cold outside. You feel it through this gap. This snow all last night, it would be cold. But more importantly, what's it on the ledge out there? What are these snow-covered lumps? It's more bars of soap. The mystery of the soap. I have an idea, but the pair of them look rather charming like that. Still very strange, isn't it? We should take one. There are two after all. Oh dear. I suppose we could. What's this? Look at it here, this soap. You see in the middle, there's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but some sort of fancy design, I suppose, only in Great Britain. Looks like the Hinamaru flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful. Probably a very expensive brand. Expensive? Then what's it doing in this ramshackle old room? Alright. Okay, I think we could leave here. Back to Gaudeb's. I don't know if he's noticed, but let's find out. Yeah, he's tired. Maybe we'll see something on Briar Road. Oh, wait, hold on. There's something here. Another piece of soap. The exception of the top floor where Mr. Gaudeb live, all the windows are bricked up. Yes, that's because of an old window tax they've been charged on number of windows property. Yeah, in order to pay less, the poorer members of society filled in many of the windows. Yeah, it's been abolished, hasn't it? Yeah, now there's bedroom tax in the England. Ah, the bedroom tax. Especially for people like Paul, Miss, and Natsume, you have to live all cooped up in a windowless room. I suppose that's the price you have to pay for living in a very cheap accommodation. It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that. Soap on there. Alright. Yeah, I noticed the soap here. But I don't think it'll do it. How about the bike? There's always seemed to be bicycles outside of Gaudeb's residence. But that bicycles are pretty popular over the Great Britain at the moment, in fact. This one seem very warped though, especially the front wheel. Does that make you more challenged to ride, do you think? No, I'm afraid that may be a result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly inflicted. Then there's a good chance Mr. Natsume has been practicing on this bicycle, I think. Oh dear, I fear you may be right. Where the hell do we go? Is it? Nothing. There must be something in Mr. Shamspeare's room. Alright, from top to the bottom here. I don't think there's anything. May have to examine the Gaudeb's room, I believe, then. Oh, a copy of the Vance magazine. Adventure of the Herlock Sholmes is being read all over London. Isn't it wonderful? Naturally, one asks oneself if such a singular detective could really exist. I don't know where to examine. There's a single apron drying on that. Yeah. It's a real cannon. Is there what going on that I don't know about? I don't know what to look at here. Window? This is the only room in this building that actually has a window to the outside world. Sometimes Great Britain really does seem like a strange land, doesn't it? I suppose all foreign cultures seem strange at first. Oh, I guess, yeah, we could examine our pieces of evidence, right? This part is different color. It's exquisite design, isn't it? Trust the bridge to turn out a boring bar soap into something special. I quite like it. It reminds me of the Hinomura design, yeah. Except this is a rather expensive soap. Doesn't seem likely, given who it belongs to. Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors, didn't they? Yes, whoever opened it was clearly someone with an unrefined temperament. And judging from the angle of the rip here, the person in question must have been right-handed. Mr. Zato, I think perhaps someone has been reading too much of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You can never be too much of it, Miss Naruto, never. I don't know what to do. Kazuma. Oh, damn. It's Kazuma's one. I don't know. Is there any of that soap in this room? Oh boy. The Medal of Honors. Devil may care. Alright, I'm so confused. I don't know where to go. Must be something in the... Oh, the teacup. One more of the teacups Champspear was holding. Oh, it ended there. God damn it. Looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Inspector Gregson, but back so soon. To pursue that little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this to the investigation division. In 5 minutes' time, this place will be cordoned. Ordoned off by the yard. Oh, I see. Well, we better be leaving then. Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low, being back in the cell so soon. I'm sure. Well, we should probably go and... He's alive. What's wrong, Mr. Naruto? Our brief candle, life but a walking shadow. A poor player. struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Oh my god, he's alive. Now, how soundeth the next part? It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed. Oh, happy day. Inspector Gregson there. Oh, is he dead? What the hell? What? Walking Dead? Is he dead? I don't know. The fella isn't dead at all. What was that nonsense he was saying, though? I think, yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5. Shakespeare. Oh yeah, I remember the, I remember plays had the, yeah, they had like a weird, format, right? That you would see in like books. I mean, you can see the script, but they had like weird, I wouldn't say, they had numbers in it as well. Indicating lines, right? I mean, it's nothing special, but yeah. Hey, what's Popeye doing here? What do you think will happen now? Good question. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life. I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shamspeare did consume poison as we deduce. But was it an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody. I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? It looks like he's trying to see into Soseki-san's lodgings. Something wrong, Mr. Naoto? Excuse me. Excuse me. Can we have a word? Whoa, what the hell? Who is this guy? He's dressed like a bee. He just ran off. I feel sure that I've seen that man somewhere before. When was it? I do too, but I don't remember. Yeah, it was in the fourth case. Perhaps we ought to go to prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again. Good idea, alright. Is this done? Alright. Let's go to Mr. Natsume. Oh damn, I thought he was... I thought... He did, it doesn't look good, he's just staying at the wall. Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now? Local student, Mr. Naoto Esquire. Oh, yes? What is he? Tell me, is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me? Let me guess. I'm talking about Mr. Shlums. Cursed. They left him cursed. I'm cursed, I tell you. Well, that sort of hurts. Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naoto. You were heavily involved in induction too. Moving on. We have some wonderful news. Oh. The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again. Now, in the absolutely worst case, you can only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume? It's terrible. Oh. I'm stuck in this cell, suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick. You did it, didn't you? Confess. You're the killer. Why the mustache? Constant questions. Sorry to hear that. Ah, that's selfish shyster. Shyster? Make up your mind. Are you dead or alive? If you were going to come back to life, why bother dying? Wickedly, wishy-washy, William. Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shamspeare was never actually dead in the first place. Ah, yes, that might make sense. And I am pleased that he's alive, of course. A lively debate last night was so much fun. It'll be sad to think it was our last. Oh, whoops. Mr. Natsume, does that mean that you did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shamspeare, didn't you? I'm not saying another word. I demand to have a lawyer present. Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story. Ugh. Why am I cursed like this? Oops. What happened there? Yeah, I think my control... I think my control is a bit scuffed. Can you tell us what exactly happened last night? I'm gonna pause it for a sec. Not pause it, autoplay it. I gotta scratch my nose and stuff like that. Alright. You're gone on, so I bade him farewell. Alright, so let's see. That ties in with Mr. Garadeb said that the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening at around 9 or just after, when I took him some nice tea I brewed as a gift. So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then. So I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you? Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet. Who was stronger? Who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate. Who was the stronger? Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare. And the debate became very heated, so you slipped poison to Mr. Shamspeare's tea? No, never. Not at all. Team Juliet won. That was me. And when I left his room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit. I swear it, categorically. Categoric. Holy cow, man. What the hell? You have to say the same thing about yourself. That you have a cursed existence. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time, I've learned that it's no place for me. It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture. There are foreigners everywhere I look and they all stare at me. They all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. Even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. I moved more times than I can remember. And then 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road. And I'm gonna burp. Why? I mean, why did you chose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable. It's cheap. Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money. It spoke to me. Rent? Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed. Cursed? Cursed how? Previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there. Oh no. He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. I want books, and books cost money. A horrible history is a small price to pay. When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning. Brave, or blinkered. But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I've done. I realized how horrible that history really was. Gosh. Is it really so awful? How did the room horrible's history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened? At first, it was just a feeling. A feeling of beady eyes boring into my back, watching me. Do you think that might be just because might have been your mind playing tricks on you? No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. It was one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to the place. Nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean? All the souls who've died in that room, leaned on me in my sleep. Alright. And tried to strangle me. And that really is horrible. And now I've come to think of it. It happened again last night too. The very same night that Mr. Shamspear was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room. I simply must move out of that room as soon as possible. Yeah, you're right, I know it. And that's why. I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home. I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history. Ooh, that son knows how to make the man listen. Alright, that's it, seems like. Of course, Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse on my room as well. You mean Mr. Gaudeb? Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near that place. You just put it in a storage room, perhaps. That may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements. You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his rooms. What do you mean? He pays so much attention to the gas lamps? Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please, forget it I said anything. Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well. What's important is that Mr. Shamspear isn't in fact dead at all. Once he comes around and he'll be able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released. Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're alright. Excuse me. Gregson. This little shit, Inspector Gregson. I couldn't help hearing what you just said. On that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Oh, which you want first? Always, every time, the bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right, well, in that case, the good news it is. Huh? Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. Then why do you ask me my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shamspear, was just unconscious. He's come around. Yes, we saw it happen in all his terrifying glory. Bad news is, he's dead. Alright, he's still being treated by doctors, but we managed to get a written statement from him already. Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume? Oh, thank goodness. It's all over then. You can leave this somber cell. Sorry, no, that's not on the cards. I have a non-inspector. Mr. Shamspear has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night. Implicated someone? Oh dear. You don't mean. I'm sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointing the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. Ah! By sweet poison did he seeketh to end my life. That wicked cat... Heatlif? Soseki Natsume, no! I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. I'll make the necessary preparations. No! No! So, once again, Soseki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether or not it was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would just represent him in court and do my utmost to break the curse that blinded him. Was it all happening in court? Yeah, it is. Alright, we could have some time in court. At least we've done the investigation. Alright. The Old Bailey. Place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all at the same time. Well, I didn't think I'll be back here so soon. That's my line. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Natsume. It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here. I wonder what the judge thinks of that. Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. Now this. Another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole. Can't keep coming to court. I'm beginning to think he's right. It really does seem as though he's cursed. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have bad news. Oh. Mr. Natsume, good morning. Yes, morning. So, here we are again. Yes, again. Medical assistant, Miss Mikotoba, SQS. What's the bad news? Oh dear. You heard, did you? Come in shouting at the top of your voice. People can't help hearing what you say. Oh, I'm sorry. You've done nothing wrong, Mrs. Addo. Now, what is it? Well, it seems that the prosecutor in today's trial... Don't tell me it's Van Zieks. We were led by... Why is he... Okay. It makes sense. Van Zieks. Ah, no. Oh, no. Again. So I've beaten this guy 4 times. Not 3 times. 4 times. I guess things make sense every time we fight him. It's a shame we don't have any, like, new prosecutor, but... I don't mind Van Zieks. There must be a reason why. Because he did say he wants to face us. I don't know what you're thinking. He's onto us. He wants to fight us. That's basically it. Alright, let's skip it to the thing. Even if that person is found guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end with one way or another. We experienced it firsthand. The man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal right here in the Old Bailey. Ah, do I have to put up with those ice-cold eyes boring into my soul again? Cursed by evil spirits and now by the Reaper? Or petrifying perils, potentially. Well, if it is... If it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume. Yeah, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Ah, yes. I'm innocent. You have to believe me. You more than anyone now. Don't worry, I believe you. I will be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle, I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear. Well, trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom. Let's go. Oh yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it. Mr. Sholmes, I mean. Alright. That's probably for the best. Oh. If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. And that could be seen as a weakness, if Lord Van Zieks were to notice. You prey on it mercilessly. At least that's my gut feeling. Mr. Naruhodo. You're right. Yes, you're so right. Oh, well said, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Well said. I sworn this sword on my side in the spirit of the Kazuma that it harbors. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free with honor. Oh, yes. Alright, here it comes. Alright, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. Alright, so familiar faces in the jury. There's Van Zieks. Wonder if he's going to throw a ball at the crowd again. What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat. Don't forget, I'm 2 up. Not just my imagination, it's really there. Lord Van Zieks has such a animosity towards the Japanese for some reason. It was some time ago now that he became known as the Reaper of the Belly, I believe. These past few years, he hasn't appeared in court at all. Yet now, he's back in the courtroom, though for some reason, only when I'm defending. This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Yes, this is my 3rd case in Britain, I guess. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate to Soseki-san's trial. Alright, the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty? Absolutely. I had a feeling the Larkin was innocent. I must say that especially ruthless. Yeah, isn't this... Juror number 4 is different. Yeah, I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make it quick. 4 is looking different. 5, same. He was in last time. I need to take 5 Bob tonight. And 6. Who was the doctor? He's a doctor. The British jury system is so very different to our own, isn't it? Quite strongly to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public. And that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt. 6 citizens of London, chosen at random. I mean, only number 4. It could change. It is itchy. Alright, let's commence the trial. Lord Van Zeeks, your opening statement, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. It's not the intention of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences. Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate a most blood-curdling crime, namely that of the attempted murder of the neighboring lodger and innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstance of the crime, the prosecution calls its first witness to the stand. Cape is off. He's serious. Detective responsible for the investigation in the scene. And the accused himself. Accused himself? So, alright. Soseki and Gregson. Witness, your names and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. Ah, Soseki Natsume from the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student studying your language and culture. Mr. Natsume. Yes, my lord, sir. I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken that you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again. I remember it as if it were yesterday. The day before, in fact, my lord. Yeah, close enough. Oh, believe me, this is the last place I want to be. Inspector, let's hear from you. Explain the case for the court. Right you are, sir. The incident occurred at the Gardeb's household where the defendant has lodgings. In the ground floor of the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare, the defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. Mr. Shamspeare collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by... What the hell is that? Let's type that out. Stry... Guess we need to pronunciate. Can you pronunciate? Let's find out. Strychnine. Poisoned by strychnine. He's found the following morning when the landlord suspecting something was wrong. Broke the... Oh god. Yeah, let's finish that sentence. Let's not talk about that. This means I presume that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident. Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the room impossible. Although the victim, Mr. Shamspeare, lives to tell the tale. He's very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have the photographic print here. And I took at the time to show how it looked. Alright. Ooh, it's colored. Yes, a chilling scene indeed. Was it like that before? No. Was it? No, it was. Yeah, it's colored in here, but not colored in Japan. Very well, I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court. Now then, Mr. Natsume. Yes? Yes? As the defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture? Juncture? The haunted. Haunted by evil spirits. Goodness gracious, what's haunted? My lodgings. There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me? What about me? I've been nearly killed countless times. Killed, Mr. Natsume? How? Even on that fateful night, if it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shanspere's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed. But before long, the stove went out and somebody tried to kill me. It might be Mr. Garadeb, actually. You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume. It's so cold, my runny nose would freeze. The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed? Well, thank you, witness. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events. If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more. Conclusive point. Conclusive? Go on. Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shamspere, has regained consciousness after his ordeal. And he has named the true culprit. The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused. The accused? Good grief. Order, order. Yes. That's the crux of the whole case. If Soseki-san is innocent, then why? Has the victim accused him? Very well, Mr. Natsume. Whatever you have to say to this accusation. That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamspere's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never. The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we heard before. Ah, just elbowed my desk. That will do, thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine the witness once. I call upon the witnesses now for formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objection? None whatsoever, my lord. Good. Then you will give your account of the events on the night in question to the court. Yeah. Yes, my lord. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor, and I took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated debate with a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at around 11. Ah, my tea was so completely harmless. Couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? Strychnine takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't kneel over immediately after taking it. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands. What's that word? Now you find another word.
Keel.
Keel. There we go. It is keel, the word. Word is keel. Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea to have been harmless, presumably, though. Tea cups have been examined for traces of poison, haven't they? Why didn't I think of that? Well, as it happens, no. We haven't been able to. Oh, did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect's substance. How could you have overlooked something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done? My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incensed. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea. Not that it was overlooked. Unable, why? It's simple enough, there was none left, not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed. With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test for poison under such circumstances. You only need a drop, but that one drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough. Can you not just like put water? The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's list on the night in question. I see. Thank you. The matter is clear. Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend. What? You can see in their faces, I'm sure, the recognition of the accused guilt. The client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity. He's right. I feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. But I can't let them beat me down. I won't. Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination. Alright. We'll just do this one cross-examination and then we'll call it a day. It was 9 o'clock. This must be the cut that Mr. Shamsbury was drinking then. Alright. I don't know. What's the contradiction here? We had a heated literary debate. Alright, literary debate. About Shakespeare, I think you said, didn't you? Shakespeare? Ah, a very worthy topic of conversation, I must say. Oh yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet. Who was stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable parley. Romeo and Juliet? Who was stronger? Now I'm gonna regret asking this, but how did the debate go? Well, we both agreed that we reached a conclusion more quickly than a reenactment. With a reenactment. So we battling out. In a Greco-Roman style, naturally. Excuse me? Mr. Shamsbury had all sorts of costume in his room for just the contest. So when you say a reenactment, you mean... you were actually in costume. He as Romeo, I as Juliet. And after a vigorous wild tussle, I as Juliet came out on top. A victory I'll cherish forever. I did not imagine the terrible scene of carnage. Fact remains that it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct? I boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take with me. I heard that he was too poor to have tea himself, you see. True, there was no sign of any tea leaves in the man's room. I want to do something nice to be friendly. So why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion? My tea was harmless, of course it was. Do you have any basements for that statement, witness? You take my tea and shove it up your ass.
Hold it!
Yes, there was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there? It's correct. Anyone would think the fellow had never had a pot of tea before. He must have licked it dry. Which is a pity because 1 drop is what we needed. Yes, definitely. The heaven on earth, I swear it. I need a drink. $11, and it was the lamp somehow, right? The lamps in the other parts of the house flicker. Yes, Deb seems to pay attention, a lot of attention, to the comings and goings of his tenants. There's only one key to Mr. Shamsbury's room, I know that for certain. Was to lock the door himself from inside his room. The victim has confirmed to be that, yeah. But I'm right, my team was harmless, completely harmless. Everyone knows that. Yeah, no. It's not that simple, I'm afraid. Yeah, then...
Hold it!
How long does it take for symptoms to appear then? According to the coroner I was speaking out to the yard, about 30 minutes after the poison consumed. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping up and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation. So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of the symptoms. There's been a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure. Oh dear, death by poisoning again. It's always so awful. Yeah, that's usually the way to go. 30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. Can't deny that. And it further degrades Soseki San's alibi. I have the medical report from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. Right, it spells out, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. Very well. Cole will add this report to the as evidence. Here it comes. But yes, I see it here. Delayed onset of symptoms. Great. Victim who would have perfectly able to lock the door after the guest left. The argument still stands. Let's see the William Shakespeare. Strychnine. High likelihood of the substance having been mixed with the tea the victim was drinking, but the sample, no sample could have been obtained. Around 1:30. We have broken. No container of poison. Alright.
Hold it!
Let's hold this. The argument still stands, you say? Yeah, this is what Mr. Natsume has been saying, isn't it? The pair of them drank tea together that night. If there was poison in it, the victim wouldn't have been able to lock the door after the accused left later on. Exactly, me and my tea are innocent. Sweet and innocent, I tell you. I'm afraid, sir, that doesn't follow. You see, strychnine is a slow-acting poison. In other words, it takes time for symptoms to appear. But you could have left the room up to 30 minutes after the victim drank the tea. As long as you did that, Mr. Shakespeare could have locked the door after you're gone. But no. We drank the tea straight away. No matter whether Romeo and Juliet were stronger, that came over the tea. Do you have any evidence to support that, silly man? In my great homeland, the Empire of Japan, we have a saying. Drink the tea while it's hot. Sure, approval will satisfy the prosecution. Hey, that's now Hodder's one as well. Apparently that's wrong. No. Alright, that's the extent of the testimony, is it? I could voice a personal opinion, Miss Naohodo. Of course, go ahead. Mr. Natsume is arguing for his innocence so adamantly, so persistently, that Inspector Grayson just brushes off what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating, I agree. What the inspector is saying, I think. I'm afraid so. As it stands, the jurors are sure to find Mr. Natsume is guilty. The poison and the tea. Let's listen carefully to that testimony again. I guess we examine the cups here. Unlike the other one, the inside of the cup was completely clean. I suppose he must have drunk the contents before the tea. I always gulp it down too. Sorry, Mr. Naohodo? Well, you just sip it a little, it goes cold. Alright, so I'm assuming... Wait. There's no tea ring. Maybe. Let's see. What's the next one? Would it have some time? Could be this.
Objection.
Nope. Uh-oh. Got that wrong. If I get the other one wrong with the thing. This is the first statement as well. I don't know what it could be. Anything else? This is Shakespeare. There's no tea ring on the inside, Mr. Natsume. Yeah, he drank it down. At 1:30? I don't...
Objection.
Nope. That's wrong. I don't know. Is this guy's statement, right?
Hold it!
Do we do this? Yeah. Where's this picture? I don't think so. I don't know what it is. I guess I'll just do the last one here.
Hold it!
See if something pops up here. No, we weren't friends. Not all. Not all. Never, ever. Simple no would have sufficed. Then, why did you decide to pay him a visit? Mr. Shamspeare's fantasy itself a great literacy. Final points of English literature. And on the night in question, that was the topic of the conversation, I presume. Who was stronger, Romeo or Juliet? I saw him on the street. That was around 6 o'clock. We exchanged 1-2 pleasantries, but it soon turned out into a heated discussion. I promised to visit her room that evening at 9. I didn't have ill intentions. No, not one, not two, not any. Not all. Never, ever. Simple no would have sufficed, I feel. And tell the court what did happen. Nothing to do with the poison here. Nothing here. Wait, the transparency's gone. Oh, what is it, Miss Nahoda? It's bar soap. When we first found it, I could have sworn there was some sort of round disc in the depressions here. A reddish one. You're right. I remember it too. Now the depression is completely empty. Where could the disc has gone? Might be in the soap. Indigestion of small quantities. I have no idea. Would he? Well, I'm gonna do this. Maybe.
Objection.
Yeah, there we go. The argument still stands, you say? I think not, Inspector. Alright, come again? I think you'll find that you've overlooked a very significant chronological inconsistency here. What? What are you talking about? I don't know what's talking about here. What's the report? The victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning, and yet defendant Mr. Natsume left the victim's room at 11. Ah. Alright. So it was that. Yeah, that was what I was thinking. That made sense, yeah. He left at 11. 1:30 was the thing, yeah. Wow, whoa, they both have the same animation. That's pretty cool. That's pretty funny. Defense argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Van Zieks? Well, never mind. Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the contents of my hallowed chalice this luncheon. How could it have happened? You asked? You asked? I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. Phantom? Is it hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him together with his neighbor, and in Japan, there's a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot. And in my country, there's an even more apt saying, there's nothing more refreshing than cold tea, is there? Point is, if there was such a long gap, there may have been other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned, other possibilities. What sort of possibilities, Council? Well, for example, man could have had another visitor. Another visitor? It's a very bold assertion, my learned friend. From someone who has nothing to substantiate and... the victim could have taken the poison off his own violation. You saying this may have been a suicide, Council? Mr. Shamspeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted. But he could be lying. Alright, what's he thinking? Something wrong, Lord Van Zeeks? I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the car room. Pray, forgive the discourtesy. Carriage? What's carriage? It would seem the key player to this case has just arrived. Whoa. Hold it. Who's it? Out. Brief candle. Lights but a walking shadow. Oh yeah, here he is. The poor player now struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Who, sir, are you? William Shakespeare, my lord. Alas, was I undone by these bitter events? I am the victim. What is he doing here? Alright. Alright, the prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. Is he going further away? I think we could call it a day. You're calling him as a witness? Very well, counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself. Happy I am, Shakespeare, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. But I still have my own tale to tell. My own tale of worse woe. I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence in perfect English. That would do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court now hear from the victim. Alright, we stop here. We stop here. Before he says anything... Oh, who the hell is this guy? Alright. That's Mr. Shakespeare. Alright, we'll stop right here. We'll stop right here. A new guest is here. But we'll save here. Yes. And call it a day. So the victor's up to the stand and the guy we saw outside Briar Road, right? Alright. So that's it for this session. Hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, that's it. We'll see you in the next few days, and I'll see you guys next time. Catch you guys later.